Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. How are we all? Hope we're all doing all right on this lovely sunny Sunday morning, actually. Yeah, it's time for the weekly watches. And before we get cracking, just a couple of bits of housekeeping. Uh, I surpassed 900 subscribers in the week, so absolutely amazed, flabbergasted, delighted, and loads of other things about that. I can't believe I've got up to that number and that many people will actually go out their way to subscribe to listen to the rubbish that I go on about. Yes, brilliant stuff. Thanks each and every one of you that has subscribed and keep the channel going and keep my spirits up to do it. The interactions, the wonderful comments. I love the comments. We have some good chats. We have some laughs. Yeah, great stuff. Again, thank you very much, and lost for words for once about it. The other thing, next weekend I'm working Saturday and Sunday, so I'm not quite sure when I'll fit this video in. It'll be sometime over the weekend. I do like to record first thing in the morning because I feel that's when I'm at my freshest. I mean, if you think it's rubbish now, you wait till you see it when I've recorded later on in the day. So yeah, we'll get it on. You can always hit the notification thing, and it will notify you when I've done it. I suppose. Does anybody actually do that? I mean, my people I watch, I just scroll through every day and see who's uploaded. I've not hit the notification, but so I just wondered, does anybody do it? Does anybody hit the notification button for my videos? I'll be flattered and bored, and I worried that you'd want a notification to watch this. But there you go. Now, weekly watches. We've watched 8 things over the course of the week. Not too many. Been a little bit of a busy week for me. So let's get into it. So right then, I kicked off the week with a viewing of Winter's Bone, a rewatch for myself from 2010, directed by Deborah Granick and starring a very young Jennifer Lawrence, John Hawkes, Kevin Bresnahan, and Dale Dickey. Now, this is all set in the Ozark region of America, and I tell you what, having watched this and the TV series Ozark, there's some very odd and threatening people that live in that area. I don't know whether it's just these two things that have portrayed them in a bad light, but God, I wouldn't want to go there. They are menacing people. They're sort of the place where your cousins, your brother, and they've all got webbed feet. They're all trying to kill each other, even their own family members. Yeah, really weird people. But anyway, this is about Jennifer Lawrence. She's a young girl. I think she's portrayed 17 in this. The character is, and she lives with her mother who's very ill, and her brother and her younger sister, the 2 kids, and the dad has left home, and it's pretty much down now to Jennifer Lawrence's character to raise the family herself, even though she's not much more of a kid herself. Like, quite a tragic setup, really. Like I say, the father supposedly skipped home a long time ago, and a sheriff comes knocking on the door one day that the dad has skipped bail, and if he doesn't appear to meet this certain court date, that he's put the house up as a bond, a bit like bail, I suppose, as we get over here. And if he doesn't appear for court, that the bail bonders, they're going to come and take the house, and basically the family will be out on their ears. So it's down now to Jennifer, as this like matriarchal figure of the family, to go out and try and find her dad, get him to turn up for bail, so they basically keep the roof over the head. The family won't be split up, and what starts as a search for a father soon becomes apparent through going to various friends of his and other family members, that really hideous people, as I said earlier, that it's not going to be a search for her father to get him to report to the court, but more that he's most likely dead, and she's got to try and find his body, though, so she can prove that he's actually dead. So then the bond will get wiped out, and they can carry on living there. Yeah, it's all right. It's decent. Nothing special. Nothing that's gonna blow your kilt up, so to speak. Very average. Lawrence, you could see the talent that she's going to go on to. Star of the show for me would be John Hawkes as her dad's brother, Jennifer's uncle, and not a very nice guy, as most of the people in this film weren't very nice people. I think that a little bit of a struggle for me. Like everybody is so horrible, you can't identify with anybody apart from maybe like Jennifer and her brother and her sister. That yeah, it's all right. Give it a watch, but it's nothing special in my opinion. Next up, I was watching, I can't remember what it was now, a DVD a couple of weeks ago, and saw a trailer for this one. I mean, I love the old style DVDs with trailers for films. You don't get enough of that these days, in my opinion. Bhaji on the Beach. Now, this is from 1993, directed by Gurinder Chanda, who directed Bend It Like Beckham, which I've not seen actually. And on the strength of this, I might pick that up and give that a watch. This is stars Kim Vathana, Jimmy Harkishin, who British viewers will know maybe as Dev off Coronation Street, Sarita Kajuria. I do pick the names, don't I? Bhaji on the Beach, yeah, early 90s fare about all these women, and they're sort of members of an Asian ladies' social gathering group, and they've picked the day out to go to Blackpool on the minibus from Birmingham. And that's another reason why I do watch it. I think I've said before on the channel that I live maybe the furthest point from the coast in the country, like right in the middle of Warwickshire. And because of this, I think I really had an allure for the coast. Really enjoy. I try and get there 2 or 3 times a year. Love going to the coast, and as such, love coastal films. So if anybody's got any recommendations, incidentally, stick it down below. Yeah, Bhaji on the Beach. Yeah, so this group of women, these Asian Indian women, they choose to go to Blackpool for the day trip, and they've all got things going on. There's one of them, she is carrying an unwanted pregnancy from a black guy that is not going to go down with her parents. There's another woman who's estranged from Dev from Coronation Street because he's a piece of shit and he keeps knocking her about. And yeah, so they all go down to Blackpool, have a day out, and all the problems seem to follow him. Like Dev is going over there with his 2 brothers to find her. The black father of the Asian lady teenager who's impregnated her, he's going there to try and sort things out. And yeah, it's funny and bittersweet in a lot of ways, as a lot of these English films are. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I say, I do love a coastal film. I think it went a bit overboard on the racism angle of this. At one point, they were spat out by some lads at a service station. On more than one occasion, they were told to go back to their own country, that sort of thing. I mean, I know, obviously, it's heinous, and I don't condone that at all. But, I mean, I'm from the early 90s, and yeah, it wasn't ideal. It's not like it is now, but I don't think it was as prevalent as they make out in this film, the racial aspects about it. I think that was just made to add a bit of spice to the film. Yeah, it's all right. I'd never heard of this, and I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, decent stuff. And next up is The Naked Prey from 1965, directed by Cornell Wilde and starring Cornell Wilde with Gert Vandenberg and Ken Gampu. Now, I've said this a few times, this vindicates why I've got this vast array of masters of cinema waiting up there for my delectation at any given moment, because this is stuck on my shelf for months and months and months without me getting to it. And it caught my eye, and I thought, I'll give that a go. And wow, what a film! This is film of the week for me. This is brilliant. I really, really enjoyed this. Yeah, The Naked Prayer. Not really know much about it. It's about these guys in, I think it's 19th century South Africa, the English people at the time, where the only white people in Africa were hunters and people trying to go in and get the natural resources, that sort of thing. And these guys formulate a hunting party. There's Cornell Wilde's character there. He's sort of the lead of the hunt, the man with the experience. Gert Vandenberg's character, he is the man who's financed the hunt, and he's a sort of boorish, drunk character who won't listen to reason, thinks it's his way or the highway, even though he doesn't really know what he's on about. And a few other white guys. And then the party's mostly made up of local African people that they've hired to carry all their equipment and make the dinner and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, one day they're out on the hunt and they come across this tribe, and the man in the tribe, he demands that they give a gift to the chief of the tribe in exchange for them being able to hunt on the tribe's land. Cornell Wilde's character wants to give him the gift, but Vandenberg's character, this boorish guy, he refuses. He says he's financing the hunt and there's no way he's going to impart with any gifts for these savages, as he puts it, much to the chagrin of Cornell Wilde, because he just wants the hunt to go off smoothly. So anyway, they part ways with the tribe, only for it to go all south later, with the tribe capturing everybody in the hunt, killing most of them mercilessly, and God, there's some violence in there. There's one guy, he gets killed, he's covered in clay, and they put him on a pole, they tie him to this pole and turn him over this fire whilst by this clay gently warms up and hardens, and a torturous death. Yeah, so they torture and kill everybody apart from Cornell Wilde's character, who they decide to play a hunting game with him where they strip him naked and give him a little bit of a head start, and then they're going to chase him down. Well, he's supposed to be naked, but I'll tell you what, the transfer is so good in this that you can see, like, he's got a pair of flesh-coloured pants on. Like, yeah, that's how good the transfer on it. HD certainly ruined that illusion for any ladies who want to watch this film and see Cornell Wilde's bits popping up and down as he's running along. And it turns into a cat and mouse game where he's evading these would-be captors who are going to kill him. He's picking them off one by one. Really brilliant action thriller. Excuse me. And watch it in the highest definition possible. Not to avoid Cornell old bits, but it's almost like a David Attenborough documentary, BBC one. The wildlife photography is that good. Yeah, really, really good. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. After that, we went on quite the tangent with Heretic from 2024. God, that's modern for me. Directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, starring Hugh Grant, Chloe East, and Sophie Thatcher. And yeah, my son Nathan, he watched this ages ago and he's been on about it for me for ages to give it a watch. So I picked it up recently, and Nathan wasn't wrong. This is a cracking film. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Good week so far. This is about Sophie Thatcher. I tell you what, she's a good actress, she is. Saw her in Companion as well recently, and she's a future star in the making. Yes, Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who was equally good. She had a good sense of humour in this, the way the two girls played off each other. Really, really good. Yeah, they're these two. I'm not sure whether they're Jehovah's Witnesses. I think they're Mormons. Not that I know the difference between Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons, so I nearly said morons. God, that, I don't, not particularly religious, but I don't think they're morons at all. Yeah, they're these two girls, and they're going around spreading the word of Jesus and God. And on their list of people to visit is Hugh Grant. So they go to his house, and in typical horror film fashion, there's a storm upcoming, and he opens and the door, and they start talking. At first, he seems like is this charming English gentleman, the typical Hugh Grant figure you see in most films, and he invites them in to speak to him about the religion. The one rule that the girls have got before they're allowed to go in any man's house is that they must be accompanied by somebody else, like not going to man's house by themselves, which makes sense. So Hugh Grant tells them that his wife is in there and cooking blueberry pie, and you can smell blueberry pie resonating through the house. So they go in and sit down in the front room, and it soon becomes apparent that Hugh Grant, let's say, he's not quite who he says he is, not quite the charming English gentleman, and is in fact quite a psychopathic killer, and there's no wife at all in the house, and the smell of the blueberry they could in fact smell was a blueberry candle that he'd lit himself. Yeah, really good film. Becomes a survival film as he keeps these two girls trapped in the house. There's a brilliant conversation he has where Grant compares the different religions to monopoly and plagiarism in music with the Hollies and Radiohead, which is really quite good, actually, really quite well thought out. I quite like that. And yeah, I'm not going to say any more about it. If you haven't watched it like I hadn't, go into it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it because I really did. Yeah, Heretic, good film. And onto a different tangent, some good old 50s hokey sci-fi with The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Directed by Eugene Laurie in 1953. This stars Paul Hubschmid, Paula Raymond, Cecil Kellaway, and a fleeting visit from Lee Van Cleef, a very young Lee Van Cleef. Yeah, the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Like I say, good hokey 50s sci-fi, some Ray Harryhausen monster goodness. All about these guys, they're conducting in the Arctic a nuclear explosion, a nuclear test explosion, and they unleash this beast from beneath the ice. One of the guys who is conducting the experiment, he sees the creature, and then nobody believes him. He goes to a renowned paleontologist, and he won't believe him because it's not possible that this thing, extinct for millions of years, would suddenly rise up from the Ash's phoenix. Then some ships start disappearing, and some other guys start witnessing this creature, and it becomes more and more of a plausible threat. And then we get the good old-fashioned Ray Harryhausen monster destroying cities, wrecking everything, roller coasters, trains, buildings, you name it, all that goodness. You don't have to think too much about it. Clear the brain, clear the airwaves, what's all that about? And watch this creature destroy a city. Yeah, good stuff. It'd been years and years since I watched that. I'm really glad I picked this up on the HMV Premium Collection. That's The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Good stuff. So after that, we skipped back a few years and we landed in 1943 for The Silver Fleet, directed by Vernon Sewell and Gordon Wellesley, not Powell and Pressburger as on the front. They are merely producers. I say merely, that's very important part of the filmmaking. Starring Ralph Richardson and apologies for the glare. Starring Ralph Richardson, Googie Withers, Esmond Knight, and yeah, this was quite an average film, really. This is all about Ralph Richardson's character. I do like Ralph Richardson. He is a shipyard owner in occupied Holland in the Second World War, and the Nazis want Richardson's character to open the shipyard up again for the production of U-boats. Have not really given him the option. He's made him do that. This doesn't go down very well with the town folk, who brand him a quisling. Now, a quisling in World War II Europe was the name given to somebody who collaborates with the Nazis. It all stems from a guy called Vidkun Quisling, who was a Norwegian politician and armed forces member who, when the Nazis occupied Norway, he basically bent over backwards for the Germans and tried to get the Norwegian people to join arms with the Nazis, and yeah, he got his own in 1945 when Norway was liberated. He was tried and executed in front of a firing squad, and people would daub a Q on the door of Ralph Richardson to denote that he was a quisling collaborating with the Germans. But underneath all this, Richardson was actually heading up the resistance and planning to build the U-boats and either capture them or destroy them, and just basically put a spanner in the works of the Germans. Googie Knight was his wife in this, a rather small part for her, quite understated, didn't make the most of her talents, I don't think. Yeah, it was all right. Nothing special. Nothing I could recommend you go out and grab a copy to watch. Yeah, it was just all right, I'm afraid, that one, The Silver Fleet. Right, we followed that up with Don't Worry Darling from 2022. That's two films in the 20s for me, which is quite something. Uh, Directed by Olivia Wilde and starring Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, who was in some boy band, wasn't he? No Direction or Some Direction, something like that anyway. Chris Pine, Olivia Wilde, as well as directing, she's in this as well. Gemma Chan, and I quite enjoyed this. Quite surprised to see, after I'd watched it, the terrible reviews it got, because it hit a chord with me. This is set in the 1950s. And I'll tell you what, if I could time travel and live in any other decade, it could well be the 50s. I love the aesthetics of it. I love the way people dressed, men dressed, and the ladies were always, lovely turned out, no ripped jeans and t-shirts. So yeah, I could see myself living in the 50s. And they live in the desert, and the men all work at this secretive company, and the women, all the housewives, all stay at home and raise families. And on the outside, this place is the absolute utopia. Everybody gets on with each other, around each other's house for parties. But Florence Pugh's character realised that something's not quite right under the surface. She starts getting flashbacks from another world. It's sort of like, I don't know, the Matrix meets the Stepford Wives. I had that kind of feeling for it, but I really enjoyed it. Chris Pine, he was the leader of this secretive company and not a nice guy. Florence Pugh, what a great actress she was. She still is, finishing her career already for her. And everyone's moaning about Harry Styles, but I thought he did a decent enough job in this. I thought he was all right. I could see myself going back to this again in the future, and don't understand the hate for it. I thought it was good. A lot of people said they saw a twist coming, but I never see it coming. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, don't worry, darling. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and like I say, I'll go back and watch that again at some point. And to finish off the week, we're back with favourite of the channel, directed by Basil Dearden, 1954, The Rainbow Jacket, starring Bill Owen in a rare leading role, Kay Walsh, Fella Edwards, Robert Morley. Robert Morley's good in this. I like Robert Morley in everything he's in. Honor Blackman, Wilfred Hyde White, one of the country's favourites, Sid James in as quite a small role. Yeah, The Rainbow Jacket. Subscriber to the channel and friend, actually, Pete Cahill. He's been telling me since I showed this on my shelf to give it a watch, and I've been promising him to watch it, so I thought I'd better get on with it. And Pete, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. All about horse racing. I have a bit of a background in horse racing, being an ex-betting shop manager years ago, and still hold a bit of an interest for it. I never gamble on horses, to be honest. Maybe the National and the Derby, like a lot of people. But yeah, The Rainbow Jacket. It's a film that sort of focuses on the seedier side of horse racing, the race fixing, and sometimes it can be, not quite as straight as it should be. Bill Owen's character, he's this disgraced jockey who was caught fixing a race, and he's pretty much barred from the race courses now. And he happens upon this young 13-year-old lad called Fella Edmonds, played by Fella Edmonds, who has got a real interest in the horses and really, really keen to be a jockey himself. And Bill Owen's character takes him under his wing and introduces him to some trainers and some owners, and the lad gets his break. But Bill Owen, he can't keep out of trouble. He can't keep on the straight and narrow, and pretty much drags Fella Edmonds' character, the lad, into the seedier side of horse racing and gets him involved in that, and puts his new fledgling career in jeopardy. Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed it. I loved seeing the old race courses back in the day, Lingfield, Newmarket, Goodwood, that sort of places. Seeing the Newmarket gallops, and yeah, back in the 50s, really, really good. I mean, look at Bill Owen there's far removed from his Compo character, isn't he? Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Pete, again for recommending that, and another one that I'll keep in the collection. I can see myself watching in the future. So that's it. What did you think of them, mate? Let us know if you liked this. Give us a thumbs up. Maybe think about subscribing. Let's get on the road to 1,000, shall we? I'll catch you all in a week. We'll think of something to do, and I'll see you later. Ta-ra.